Welcome back Inside the Game here on the National Soccer Network. Episode 287 here on NSN. Yes, we need 287 horns exactly for number 287. No, I'm just kidding. Welcome back in, everybody. Joining us here on Inside the Game, we got a fun show coming up for you guys here today. As always, Tyler Terens to join us on the show at 9:30 a.m. today. And he will be one of the voices in the World Cup here in 2026. So really looking forward to getting that conversation in. Now officially the second broadcaster we've ever had on here who has World Cup ties.
Third.
Ryan, third. Yeah, you're right. No, you're third. How could I forget? So third. Actually, I don't want to sell it short, but he's got a really cool story. This is someone who put his mind to it and got the job done. I mean, really years after joining professional soccer back in 2018. So what a fun journey, and really looking forward to getting that conversation into the mix. Also excited to get back after it here tonight. I got Midwest United in the USLW here over in Grand Rapids, Michigan. They got Union FC Macomb. So hoping to be out there. I don't know what the weather situation looks like, but of course we got USLW Game of the Week coming up on Saturday as well. But a lot of fun stuff on the network, Ryan. But I know that obviously coming into the show, we talked about it. You had something you wanted to kick things off with.
Yeah, the Florentino Perez crash out yesterday. You can tell if someone is going crazy. You can just tell there's a certain look in the eyes of a certain person. And you can tell that they're going crazy. They're going berserk. And they really just have to get something off their chest. And Florentino Perez did that and then some yesterday. Obviously, he is in his seventh term as the Real Madrid president right now. And if you actually look at, the requirements of being the Real Madrid president, it's almost like you have to have certain requirements, almost like the president of the United States. Like you have to have a financial backing of 15% to even run for this thing. This is just the requirements. You need to have a 15% backing in your bank account of the Real Madrid team budget. I don't know exactly what that number comes out to, but that's probably tens of millions of euros or pounds or dollars, whatever it is. And then you also have to be, a Spanish. You have to be of Spanish descent. You have to be a member of the club for 20 years. Regardless of what position it is, you just have to be a member of the club. It's unreal. And then yesterday, he comes out to the media. This is the first time he's done a press conference in 8 years. The first time since 2018 he has done a press conference. And these are just some of the quotes that this guy said yesterday. And remember, he started off this thing with, I just want to regret to inform everyone that I will not be resigning as the Real Madrid president. Look, we all know the turmoil that's going on with the club right now, and this is just kind of the cherry on the top. Let's see here. He says, first off, he had to start by, he does not want a re-election. But he is calling for people that if they want to run against them, they are more than welcome to. And if they can run against them, by the way, our good friend Fabian has sent me a 75 million is what they have to have in the bank account just to even run. He did show me a person that is going to run against Florentino Perez. He is insisting that Real Madrid is not a dictatorship, that he is the greatest president of all time. He's informing everyone that he's the greatest president of all time, and that in order to get this guy out of the office of Real Madrid, they will have to shoot him in order to get out of becoming the Real Madrid president. He claims that players fight each other every single season, and this part's a little bit scary to me. This exact quote, where in the world is it? He goes, where is it? Where's it at? Okay, here it is. It's not the first time that players fight with each other. It happens almost every season, but someone leaked it for the first time, and we know who it was. It should have stayed within the club, and it won't happen again. That's a little scary to me, just personally. But yeah, that's what he's talked about with the whole Tchouaméni and Valverde thing. Both those players are most likely going to be gone. He says 4 or 5 players hit each other every single year. Okay, that's interesting. He grabbed his phone and started laughing at news articles about himself, saying about the fake news that goes out there. They said I have cancer, and it was terminal. It was the most undignified thing that has ever happened to me. They said I didn't go out, and I could not walk. I want to assure those who are concerned about me that I continue to preside over Real Madrid and my company every single day. I could stay here all afternoon and I can go to bed whenever I feel like. Calling out fake news stations like ABC, he mainly called out, saying that he is supernatural, a beast that works day in and night. He also attacked Barcelona for the Negreira case, which is basically talking about the Barcelona president for paying millions of euros to the Spanish soccer refereeing committee. He says 30 years ago we learned about the corruption case as the Negreira case. There are no precedents in the history of world soccer. It is the biggest scandal in history and a case that remains unresolved and going. We are compiling an important dossier that will immediately present to UEFA so that they can address it and the roots and figure out the resolve for that is good of world soccer, claiming that that Real Madrid does not have robberies within its organization, saying that he will have 7 more titles before it's all said and done. And then he also mentions that he is the greatest president that Real Madrid has ever had, that he's had 37 presidents in his time. And he even included basketball. Real Madrid basketball has won 29 basketball titles since he has been there. I'm surprised no Luka Doncic thing got mentioned in this whole thing. And then he ends it all with 2 simple words. Good night.
Okay. First of all, I think it's fair to start asking questions of whether or not he's actually like genuinely losing his like health or not in good health, at least mentally speaking. It's one thing to come out and say, straight up, like, yeah, I'm one of the best presidents ever. But to go into that much depth and detail and attack all the different pillars of what this is and claim that, you're above everybody else and everything else is wild. And the part that you said that concerned you the most probably about we know who the rat is in the dressing room. Never underestimate what a desperate multi-million dollar company, entity, person is going to be willing to do when their back is against the wall and when they're getting desperate and when they're starting to lose a grip on reality. And I believe that is officially where we have gotten now. And so whatever it takes to get him out of his position of power, I think is absolutely necessary. But the most troubling of all of it is the willingness to go after the free press and the willingness to go after journalists and call it all fake news. I don't know what happened that ushered us into this like segment of society, this generation that we exist in now, where it's easy for people to cast off things as fake news and just simply deny things that are real and that are right in front of you. But Zubamendi has done exactly that. Yeah, maybe there's fighting in the locker room every year. I'd be willing to admit that there is. And truthfully, Ryan, I told you once upon a time, if I'm a head coach or a manager, right, my guys aren't fighting in some respects. I don't like it because it means they don't care. But the level of toxicity that is
if they're fighting, I don't think
Madrid,
that. I think that still shows that they care a little bit. It depends on the context of the fight.
No, that's why I said it shows that they do care, not that they don't care. It shows that they do care. But the biggest part about this is not that it's just simply been fighting. We've seen the layers and the levels to what has gone on and just how bad it's gotten in that Real Madrid locker room. Sorry, not locker room, the dressing room.
I thought you were going to say clubhouse.
No, no, not this time around. There really is no way of explaining yourself out of this situation. There's no way of maneuvering your way out. And the fact that he would choose to, instead of just doing what probably would have been the better choice and being open and honest and heck, maybe even apologizing about it, goes out of his way to attack everybody and everything else. There's no way I see this storyline ending any other way than complete and utter disaster. What are your takeaways from this?
That he's just a crazy person. That's really all I got. That's all my takeaways from it. I know there's another quote that I forgot to mention about the whole like running up against him. He says that if you are running against me, go ahead, see if you can, but this is your opportunity. But don't move in the shadows with publications and news outlets. Come out and let's debate this thing. So, I think that maybe
Yeah,
he's heard something that people are trying to run against him, and he clearly just does not like it. But bro is just clearly just crashing out. Like this is
yeah.
insane, and I get it. He's under a lot of pressure. I mean, this is the first trophyless season, and it feels like forever for this club. They lost another La Liga title to their arch rivals. They didn't win anything. They lost in the Champions League quarterfinals to Bayern Munich. There's a whole bunch of turmoil within the club. He's had to fire a manager midseason. Actually, he didn't fire a manager. They mutually parted ways. So he didn't really get fired. It was just they all hated each other. So I just think it's an overall mess, and they don't have a true adult in the dressing room. They don't have anything at all. Dave says there should be fighting in the locker room, by the way. I mean, this club is the biggest club in the world, so he's obviously feeling some sort of pressure for running the biggest club in the world, and with being the biggest club in the world, it comes with a lot of expectations, and clearly he has not met that this year. And I mean, the dude has been there since, well, technically he was there in 2000, lost it in 2006, got back there in 2010, and has been there ever since. I mean, he's seen, the greats. He's seen their team he's seen this club at its highest. He's seen the club rebuild a stadium in COVID, which it was so funny watching Real Madrid play during COVID because they were playing at their training ground because obviously they couldn't have fans and they were rebuilding their stadium so they could host NFL football games, which I will still stand by as the dumbest thing ever, is the international NFL games. But I just think this is so funny to me because this is a guy that during COVID wanted the Super League. This guy was the catalyst for implementing the Super League, which everybody hated. Everyone hated this idea. And then he just went into hiding. Never came out to face the music, never came out and face the press about it. Like, this was your idea, and everybody hated it. Now, it's just gone a complete mess for Real Madrid ever since. I know they have a Champions League since 2020, but I think that's that should be the only one that they had. That was the Jude Bellingham against Dortmund one. So, no, that was I don't know. I just find this really funny. I really like when a person of power just comes out and just completely loses it all.
I mean, it is funny in one respect, but it's also troubling in another respect, right? And you also look at how old he is. I mean, he's over 75 years old, man. I mean, there's a certain stage in life, and I feel like it's once you get into the 70s, especially you get into your mid 70s, and this is why we see a lot of coaches that step away at 70 plus years old, and a lot of leadership step away at 70 plus years old. Not all leadership, but some. And it's because you start to lose your cookies. You start to lose it when you get to that age. And so this knee jerk defensive, I mean, you just emptied the clip on everybody and everything because we were pointing out the toxicity in the dressing room, which, by the way, it's not debatable. We know this. And, I'll put it this way again, before we move on to our next topics. I know we got to get to a break here pretty soon. The minute we lose any sort of journalistic integrity when it comes to covering these teams is the minute that you can't believe anything.
Diana Rossini. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like, yeah, she 100% lost her journalistic integrity. I will say that. But the minute that all that we do is just simply pander to these clubs is the minute that, we lose what we have, which is a free society. We just don't know what's going on. It is the worst potential thing you could do. So I think it's troubling. I personally think it's troubling. I don't know what the people at Real Madrid are going to think about this, but I think these are some pretty troubling words, all told. And I do think he is starting to lose it a little bit. It's just, I'm not a doctor. I can't medically assess the guy, but from everything he just said, it certainly seems that way.
Got a couple questions coming in from the YouTube chat. We also have a new guy coming in today, Gutierrez. Again, apologize if I mispronounce your name. He says, "What is this?" I said, "It's a soccer podcast, sports podcast." My friend, I go, "Who's your favorite team?" He goes, "Team USA is my favorite team." USA, USA. Shout out to our new friend Gutierrez. But Fabian, obviously this is his team. He had a couple things to put in there. What kills my team is the money they spent a few years ago, and now they are caught in a straitjacket because the players are not performing, and they can't get rid of them. Vinny and Mbappe, Tchouaméni, Rudiger, Huijsen, and Carvajal. Now 2 years with no trophy is a disappointment. They are on a ledge of a bridge, now looking over a river. Real Madrid can get rid of half the lineup, but the other half, no one can buy them. So what's their option? Loan them out? Well, you still have to pay. Clubs still have to pay fees on their wages. So I mean, realistically, you might have to send them out on a season-long loan. Which Fabian sent me that this is the person that is currently running against them, Enrique Riquelme. Enrique Riquelme is reportedly has received authorization from his 2 main shareholders at Cox Energy Group to run for the Real Madrid presidency, even though I think the term ends in 2030, I think is when he could technically rerun. So I don't know what's going on with this whole club, to be completely honest with you. But yeah, no, this is insane. Which, by the way, Gutierrez, we do have some U.S. men's national team topics today. For Can We Say That U.S. men's national team edition? You guys seem to like the first one yesterday's on the World Cup. So yeah,
let's get to that on the other side here. First, we'll tell the people about FC Bayern summer soccer camps. They are a proud sponsor of the National Soccer Network, fostering football excellence across North America. Open to boys and girls of all skill levels, FC Bayern camps deliver elite training inspired by FC Bayern Munich's world-class philosophy. Select your city and start a promising soccer path. Right now, save $30 on registration by using promo code BayernNSN30, and it's BayernNSN30, or scan the QR code on your screen. Learn more at FCBayernYouth.com.
So the dream behind Irene's was simply to be a place where the community could come and gather. This is my hometown, we're raising our family here, and we just want to be a space where people can come together as a community and share a great meal. We've got golf simulators, we got pinball, live music, trivia nights, but we also have fresh, always homemade, locally sourced food, and we serve it with a sense of Gemütlichkeit. This is a German word that conveys a sense of warmth and coziness and belonging. We're excited to show off how we're growing and that this is the place to be.
Inside the Game rolls along here, episode number 287 here on the National Soccer Network. Again, also Sports Nation and Sports with a Z on social media. Ryan, getting into our next topic here in hour number 1. Again, to those of you who are joining us today, Tyler Terens, one of the voices of the World Cup in 2026, to join us on the show about 9:30. But first, we did Can We Say That World Cup edition yesterday. Now, today, we're going to focus on the U.S. men's national team. What are some of the what can we say that's here today on our show?
It's going to be tight if we're going to do it. So we're going to have to go rapid fire. We got under 10 minutes to even get all these questions in. So number 1, can we say that Weston McKennie is more important to the U.S. men's national team than Christian Pulisic?
Yes, I think at this moment, yeah. I think the way he's been playing this year, especially in the same league as Pulisic too, I think it's easier to make comparisons with players when they're actually playing in the same league. when they're actually playing in the same spot. You know, it's a lot different when we're doing cross-league comparisons and, well, this guy's here, this guy's there, this guy's in the MLS. He's playing really well, but he's still in the MLS. No, Weston McKennie has been so impactful for this men's national team. He actually scored in one of our last two friendlies that we had against Belgium. So I think he's been great. I think Pulisic, again, right now, he's just in the Superdome, man. He's just in his head, especially with the injuries, too, and the nagging injuries. It's led to a state of not panic, but you can just tell he's not himself. And I think we've all been able to admit he's just not himself right now. Can he find that in month's time? I don't know. I hope. I certainly do.
I think McKennie's more valuable than Christian Pulisic. I said that I don't think he gets off the field. He's versatile. He can play pretty much anywhere you want him to go outside of goalkeeper. And this is not a Nick Wright take. I know he said like exactly that same thing. I don't see him being the 73rd best player in this World Cup tournament. I think that is way that's a stretch, my friend. Fox.
By the way, we can save some of these until after the interview. I'm perfectly cool with that. I know we got a few more to get to, but anyways, go ahead.
But no, I think McKennie is way more valuable. He finds the back of the net. He's not in his head. He's not this little soft mentality that Pulisic might have at certain times. He doesn't need a goal to get going. McKennie just goes out there and balls and balls out. Like, this guy does nothing but show up. He's constantly questioned time and time again from the Juventus faithful, from the Juventus fans, the Juventus higher-ups, and he continues to show up every single time. We've talked about having pressure on these U.S. men's national team players. Tyler Adams said it himself that there's pressure, but you know what? McKennie shows up every single time for us and Juventus. I think he's way more valuable than Christian Pulisic. So number 2 is, can we say that the U.S. men's national team will get past the round of 16?
No, and that's we talked about this yesterday. Like, will any of the host countries advance past the round of 16? I mean, it's the same question. Obviously, the U.S. is at the end of that. The hopeful side of me says, sure. The hopeful side of me says we're going to put together a run like we've never done before. This is going to turn into a movie, and that docu-series that's obviously following the U.S. men's national team is going to turn into a Hollywood special of the moment that we turned the corner in soccer, and now we've become a part of the conversation. However, the realistic side of me has seen, just how unorganized, disjointed, oftentimes flat, maybe you could say boring, that this team has been in the past, and how unpredictable they've been under Mauricio Pochettino. It's been said many a times before on this podcast, not just by you and me, but by others as well, that it's tough to understand exactly what we're going to get on a given day, whether that be specific players, whether that be the way we play. There's a lot of toss-ups. That's why whenever we do our lineup projections and everything else, it's like, in our formations, it's like, well, maybe. I mean, I realize we found something maybe at the end of that window before the holidays, but the reality is that I just don't know what to expect from this team, and it's really, really hard for me to think that they're going to be anything better than max round of 16. And we've won one elimination game in what, how many years? I mean, I don't know. I think that's it's a touch unrealistic to think that they'd be doing any more than that. Not that I don't want them to.
So last time we talked about a USA sports team, exceeding expectations. You were a Debbie Downer. I was not. I said USA would win gold. You said they would get silver. I think we can say they can get past the round of 16. Here's why. It all depends on the group. If they can get number 1 in the group, I think there is 100% a reason of optimism to get to the quarterfinals. Why do I say this? Well, they'd play a third place team in the round of 32. And the round of 16, they get a favorable potential 1 seed. Again, that 1 seed would have to win their game. They could get upset for all I know. Again, I'm curious to see if there will be more upsets in this World Cup with the expanded field, with the extra round in there, with having third place teams get into the knockout stage. But I just got to say, I think we can say that it's a reasonable path. If we are set up the way we should have been set up in these last couple of friendlies, I could see Pochettino maybe be like, you know what? Let's experience with 4 at the back. Let's just see what happens. He did it. He knows that, all right, let's not do that ever again because we're going to get cooked. But If they go back to the 3 at the back, 5 at the back, whatever you want to call it, it's up for you to decide whatever you want to call it because everyone kind of has their own say in what type of a back line it is. If they are set up that way, they finish first in the group. There is 100% a reason to say we can get past the round of 16.
Okay. All right. Hey, man, they got to prove that they can win a high leverage game.
Hey, U.S. hockey didn't prove anything. They didn't have anything to prove heading into it. There was all the reasons to say no. I sat up here and said, you know what? They're gonna win gold. And you're like, no, it's gonna be Canada. They beat us all the time. And then when they win,
at least I said they would medal, though. I didn't say they'd like finish 8th place.
Well, it's not hard to medal in the Olympics. There's like 4 countries that realistically could rival anything. You got Sweden, you got Finland probably, and then you got Canada and the U.S. Russia would be the 5th one, but obviously they weren't going to be in it.
Germany's all right. Czech Republic nearly beat Canada. I don't know, man. I think. Did you say Finland?
I said Finland.
Did you even mention Finland? You mentioned Finland? Okay.
Yeah, they have like the most medals out of any country in the Olympics.
Yeah, they're sick. They're sick. They're
and
sick.
I think Thomas Tatar was on one of those teams, wasn't he? Is he Finnish?
Yeah. Still playing. Yes.
He's like 40
to this day. Yeah. Switzerland
Red Wings
is
legend.
also all right.
But I think we can say they can get past the round of 16. I think they can.
All right, man. All right.
In 2002, no one thought they'd get to a quarterfinals. Right and they were a handball away from getting into the semifinals from one and only Greg Berhalter.
All right. I'm gonna cut that segment and I'm gonna put that up on social. You just, you better be ready to answer for yourself when we, fall down the stairs. I'm kidding. I don't want that to happen. I want these guys.
I don't care. I don't care. I'll take the smoke. I'll take the smoke. It don't matter to me. I don't get sensitive on stuff like that. I'll put it out there. My Indiana take is still gonna stay true, and I really I put my career on the line in that take because everyone's, oh my God, Indiana football. Which, by the way, I just saw during the commercial break, your boys, the Hoosiers, tried to create the LSU little White House dance. Oh, my God, it was horrible.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
We'll get to the rest of the kid. We say that after this. We're going to step aside. We'll have Tyler on right after this. You're watching Inside the Game.
Experience the thrill of the game like never before with NSN's Game Rewind. Dive into full match commentaries enhanced with cutting-edge dynamic graphics, letting you relive the highs and lows of your favorite matches in astonishing detail. Whether it's a championship win or a legendary play, NSN Game Rewind bridges the past and future with a broadcast experience designed to captivate. Call 586-304-4405 and start watching today.
Inside the Game rolls along here on this Wednesday, episode 287. We welcome you back in, and we also welcome our special guest this week, one of the voices of the World Cup here in 2026, Tyler Terens, joining us on Inside the Game. Tyler, welcome in, my man. How have preparations been getting ready for the World Cup?
Oh, I love the horn drop. That's when you know you've made it. You come out to a segment and the horn gets dropped like that. No, I appreciate you guys having me on. And honestly, like I was up at around like 6:30 or 7, and Graham Potter obviously releasing Sweden's roster, and that's my first game is Sweden and Tunisia. So I was just going back, and I had already started my prep work. So yes, Victor Gyökeres is going to be there. I am a massive Liverpool fan, and like the rest of us, a huge Arsenal hater at the moment. So I will not be mentioning his name if he does. If he does end up scoring, I'm not mentioning who he plays for or anything like that. No, I'm kidding. No, but I was just going through who was left off, who he decided to bring, some of the omissions and stuff like that. So I'm fully in the midst of World Cup prep, and while simultaneously doing some other stuff for USL and NWSL and stuff like that. So it's been a lot of fun, and glad to be on with you guys.
All these broadcasters and all these Liverpool fans. Adam Jackson, Liverpool fan. Neil Rule, Liverpool fan. And now Tyler, Liverpool fan. I need an Arsenal fan that's a broadcaster.
Ryan, is it possible that there's just like perennial ball knowers who happen to be Liverpool fans? Is that maybe?
I mean, before Jurgen Klopp, I don't recall you guys ever winning anything before Jurgen Klopp. Woo! At least I was watching. So, you know what? I really hope. I hope he scores and Gyökeres does this. I really hope that.
You know. The tears will taste that much sweeter when you guys end up bottling it. Just
keep
going.
God,
keep going.
Dang.
Keep going. It'll be so good.
Oh,
It'll be
God,
so good.
Dang.
Oh, but we appreciate you stopping by, and we'll have time to talk about that. We have our own resident Arsenal Slappy in here. I love it, man. I love doing the show with him every day. Loves getting into it. But I did want to talk a little bit about your journey. It's kind of crazy. I think all broadcasters really start with a dream and a goal they want to get to, and it's rare to actually get there. Not often do you reach the heights that you want. It doesn't get any bigger than the World Cup. How excited are you to get underway with everything going on this summer?
I can't even begin to describe to you like how excited I am about this. Not only calling professional soccer games and getting to this point in my career where I can say I'm doing CONCACAF Champions Cup, did Gold Cup, did MLS season pass for 3 years, did Chicago Fire. Like all of these have been huge moments and moments I don't take for granted. But now to get to this point, like the World Cup has always been my favorite sporting event, hands down, period. More so than March Madness, more so than NBA playoffs. I'm a huge Knicks fan, and I'm wrapped up in Jalen Brunson madness and Deuce McBride madness right now. But with all that in mind, like the World Cup has always been the pinnacle for me in terms of like how emotionally I get attached to the US, to other teams, to other storylines. So like to be calling it, to be a part of it, to be one of the 3 American names who's going to be calling it for Fox, like it's such an honor. And I like still have to sometimes pinch myself that the fact that I've already started working on it and like doing the prep, I think that's been so far, right? Like going to the games will be the coolest part, but this has been the coolest part so far is like being like, all right, like I'm prepping for the World Cup. And this is part of my day-to-day prep as a play-by-play commentator now is like taking a look at Sweden's roster, taking a look at Qatar's roster, taking a look at, Canada and what went wrong in their March international window and things like that. So it's just been so much fun so far with the press release and the prep work, and it's only going to get better. When I'm leaving for Monterrey, Mexico on June 11th here for a month away from home and being able to call games.
Who's your favorite college football team?
I don't have one.
Okay.
Growing up in Jersey, like, what was I supposed to be, a Rutgers fan? Like, one good year.
Yeah, Scarlet Knights.
Jeremy Ito kicks a big field goal against Louisville. Like, that was the big crowning moment for Rutgers football. Like, I don't really have a college football team. My wife is a Virginia Tech Hokie and she went to Ohio State grad school. So I guess I claim both of those. Maybe Franklin is the guy. Oh no. I'm saying
we're Wolverine fans.
I'm saying a lot of bad.
Oh my Lord! Hey, no, I'll give you Virginia Tech. I think that's the greatest college football entrance of all time. I'll give you Virginia Tech, but Ohio State, Knicks, and a Liverpool fan. Oh boy!
Yeah, it's a sad life over here. I'm a Jets fan too. If that balances.
Hey, you got Aaron Glenn, so
that would just feel bad. Yeah.
You got Aaron Glenn. He was a Lions D coordinator.
We have Aaron Glenn. Is that supposed to be a good thing? Or
well, he was our old defense coordinator for the Lions. So like, props.
Big props. Yeah, we're headed in such a good direction. Big props.
Anyway, our new friend Gutierrez is chanting USA. The chant USA. Question for you, Tyler. You played the game. Does that help you at all? Being in the booth, being a player of the game.
I never thought of it that way. it was always just something that, like, yeah, I happened to play Division 3, and my claim to fame is that I played in a Danish FA Cup game while I was studying abroad, and I got picked up by a
That's
local,
pretty awesome,
like,
though.
semi-pro team. It was great. I pulled my hamstrings 15 minutes in, but I did hit the crossbar before I exited
Okay.
the field. But that was my stat line for the game. I got subbed off 15 minutes in. But I never really thought of it as an advantage or a disadvantage, but as I started to interview for jobs, as I got the Chicago gig and then MLS season pass, like what people were saying, and this is not to toot my own horn, but just sort of like how I was being viewed through the glasses and the lens of my peers was like, oh, Tyler has a really good understanding of the game and he sets up his analyst really well. And like, I guess it's proven to be an advantage, but I've just called the game how I see it. And I guess that has sort of morphed into this thing where, my base level of knowledge allows me to go maybe one step further with my analyst and one step further with the audience. Obviously, not trying to talk down to them, and then also being sure to include some tactical parts of the game. It's an interesting balance, and I talk about a lot with some of my colleagues and everything like that. But yeah, I guess it has helped. But according to other people, it's just been me calling the game and seeing the game through my own lens, and I guess it's just been something that has allowed me to interact with my analyst well, which has been really fun.
I think it's interesting you bring that up too, because going from being a player to an analyst or someone on the broadcasting side, simplifying the language is something that I think can be hard. Yeah, I think on the football side of things, I think of someone like Tom Brady, being the film junkie that he is, speaking in layman's terms when he's in the broadcast booth. How have you been able to develop that side of your broadcast?
That's an interesting question, and I don't even know if it's something that's on a conscious level, because what I think that because I played the game at a relatively high level, right, Division 3 in upstate New York, like
And
I
the Danish
think
Cup.
that, and the Danish FA Cup, I just I actually got ripped on at a comedy show in Cincinnati, which is where I lived, by the comedian who called me out. He was like, "You sir, what do you do for work?" And like we went through like what I do for work, and I was like, "Oh, I'm a commentator." He goes, "Well, for who?" I said, "For Apple TV and Fox Sports." He goes, "Well, hold on a second. Are you a soccer commentator?" I said, "Yes." And he goes, "Okay." And then he goes, "Did you play anywhere?" I said, "Yes." And then he goes to the crowd. He says, "Watch this. He's gonna tell me that he played somewhere that nobody's ever heard of in the middle of nowhere." He goes, "Where'd you play?" I said, "Hobart College in upstate New York." And then he goes, "Did you play anywhere else?" I said, "Yeah, I played a little bit in Europe." He's like, "Did you play with a bunch of firefighters in Sweden?" I said, "No, in Denmark." And he was like spot on, and he absolutely killed me in the stands. But yeah, like but to answer your question, it's become something that I think is subconscious because of having played, but then also I'm a American sports guy at heart, right? Like my dad was not somebody who watched soccer constantly. I didn't start watching it like as a real fan of the game until I was around 13 or 14, and I really started to play competitive club and academy and like that. So I think that I've developed this sort of like organic American sports announcer paired with, a guy who also played at the college level type thing. And I think that that's just been this really like nice mix to most people. I still have my haters out there, as most commentators do, right? But like, I think that that's sort of been a really nice balance. And again, it's not something I'm thinking about consciously. It's just more so of like, I'm describing the game in a way that I can tee up my analyst and let them go a little bit deeper, but my normal lexicon is still going to be, for the most part, a European American blend, which I think hopefully maybe is going to be something that is really relatable for the World Cup audience this summer, which we know can be a lot of people who don't typically watch soccer on Saturday mornings in the Premier League or are watching MLS hardcore like us three would.
And I think the reason why the World Cup, to your point, talking about, the common American sports fan, which I can relate to the part about your dad as well. Man, my dad didn't watch really soccer growing up, wasn't really a part of the selection, a lot of baseball, a lot of football, a lot of those things. I think the hope is with having the World Cup here, we can maybe in some way start to not convert those people, but at least get the people who aren't normally surrounded by it to just watch the game, enjoy the game, see it for what it is. What part of this tournament, and we say it's the biggest tournament in the history of this country, specifically with this sport, what component of this tournament are you looking forward to the most, that you think will have the most impact?
It's a really loaded question, and a good one, because unfortunately, I think that a lot of capturing the imagination and the soul, for lack of a better earnest phrase, is like how well the U.S. is going to do, right? Unfortunately, I think that that's what it's going to come down to for the most part. I still think that there's going to be some really cool and big moments for some cities like Kansas City that's hosting, right, like 3 mega powerhouses, and there's going to be kids in Kansas City who grow up, who, maybe go hop on their dad's shoulders to see a training session where Messi is, get a glimpse of Messi for a moment, and then that encourages him to, go kick a ball around outside with his friends and play pickup soccer. And I read something recently that pickup soccer might be something that sort of like becomes really popular in this country after the World Cup. Like, I think you'll have moments like that, but capturing the imagination and the soul of the casual American soccer fan will depend largely upon how well the U.S. does. And that's what I'm looking forward to the most, but that's what I'm also the most scared about, right? Because we all know how March went, and there's a lot more questions than answers with the roster right now. And I'm not going to hit the emergency button just yet with heading into this group stage, but I also think that this group is a lot tougher than people are giving it credit for. We should get out, especially with eight third place finishers. But at the same time, if the U.S. gets grouped for whatever reason, or gets embarrassed in the round of 32, or even doesn't get out of the round of 32, it's like, well, how much of this hype and everything that we have sort of led into this for the past 8 years since we've known that it's coming here is going to just get flushed away? And then you're really just looking at, right, there's still going to be big audiences that watch the game on TV, but in terms of really like getting people to watch MLS, to buy into their local team, wherever they might be, whether it be the USL Championship level or League One level or whatever, how much of that is really going to trickle in if the US doesn't perform well, and if you're not getting that sort of like patriotic nature in the summer of our 250th anniversary as a country? I just think it's so important. I'm really looking forward to it, but there's a lot of like built-in anxiety with it as well.
How far do you think the U.S. has to go in order to captivate the nation?
Quarterfinal, final eight. And I think that that's where everybody is, right? It's like to capture it, but to also say like this was a success. I think a quarterfinal is where we need to go. Round of 16 will be nice, and that's sort of like our baseline, right? But quarterfinal would be really nice.
Got a question coming from our chat. Fabian says, "Can Team USA get to the quarterfinals?" Tyler, he wants you to answer that one.
Can we? Sure, right? Like anything can happen. I mean, I think, like if and I don't mean to say that flippantly or sort of just like, it could happen, like angels in the outfield. But it's, if Russia can get to a quarterfinal, if Morocco can get to a semifinal,
Costa Rica got to a quarterfinal.
Costa Rican can get to a quarterfinal. Why can't the U.S.? And now, granted, I know that when you take a look at the possible opponents of the U.S., depending upon where they finish in the group and what else could happen in the rest of the tournament in the bracket, like, you're looking at it and you're going to have to play some big powerhouse either in the round of 32 or in the round of 16. It's the World Cup, man. It's the knockouts. You're going to have to play somebody good. And like, we take a look at that. We take a look at our record recently against some really good teams, and we get smashed. And yes, we can, but it'll take a Herculean effort. You're going to have to get some sort of ridiculous performance out of whoever the goalkeeper is going to be, which I think a lot of us believe it'll be Matt Freese, but who knows? And you're probably going to have to win in penalties in some crazy fashion along the way as well. So a lot of things need to go our way. I think we can do it, but I'm not a betting man. I'm not allowed to put money on the tournament, but I'm certainly not going to take a few shekels out of the old bank account and place it on the U.S. to get to the quarterfinals. I'm just not doing that, especially with a kid on the way in August. I just can't afford to toss some money.
Whoa.
Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, it's awesome, man. Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah.
We had Alexi Lalas on the show, and he said something, we weren't talking about winning the World Cup, but he said what would be awesome to see is if the U.S. just did something that we haven't seen before. They don't have to lift the trophy at the very end, just something we haven't seen. What is that thing in your mind? What could that thing be that we haven't seen before that maybe incites that patriotism that you're talking about?
And did Lexi give an example, or was he just basically saying like
no?
No, he did not. He did not give an example.
Okay. All right. So now it's up to me to come up with that, right? Yeah,
It's
no,
it's
great.
all on
Thanks,
you.
thanks,
Yes.
Lex. Yeah. That's interesting. I haven't thought about it in those terms before. I think like maybe a world class banger, right? Like maybe a goal of the tournament would be really fun. If
What's your
I
call
don't
for
know,
it?
I'm just. Well, I'm not. Ask John Strong that question. I'm
I
not
guess
on the
you're not
call
there
for you.
yet.
Yeah, no, I'm not there yet.
Okay. All right. All right.
Does it have to be better than Jermaine Jones's 2014 goal?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was a really, really good goal. I wouldn't call it like the Richarlison goal against Brazil. I wouldn't call it Pavard's, goal against Argentina. I wouldn't call it anything like that.
That
But it
was
was a
insane.
really, really good goal. So I think that could help. I think that doing something they've never done before, getting to a semifinal, would be really nice. Winning and so much of the bar and the historian aspect of this changes, right? Like I was doing prep for Japan. They've never won a knockout round game before. But I wouldn't put it past them to win a round of 32 game. But then that gets them to the same point that they've been every single
should in
time, which is the
2018.
round of 16. And they 100% should have. But, and this is what I'm talking about with the U.S. is like, well, sure, maybe we get to the quarterfinal, and we've already done that before in 2002, but we've never won 2 knockout round games before. So like that's where you sort of are moving the bar a little bit. So maybe it's just simply winning 2 knockout round games. Maybe it's giving U.S. fans a week's worth of content to consume and anticipation to feel and the excitement. And I can see the smile on your guys' faces because like I'm just as excited as everybody else is at the concept of like of going into not 1 but 2 but potentially 3 games in the knockout rounds, knowing that the US is playing and being able to get hyped up for that. I think that could be the thing that we've never seen before, and giving the US men's national team fans a long run-in and a long runway in the knockout rounds to just get excited and to talk about and feel the buzz of the Americans deep into the tournament.
What are you looking forward to the most going into the World Cup, just being there?
I think selfishly, it's my opening call for the first game of the World Cup. Like feeling that visceral, whatever, the goosebumps, the knot in my stomach, but like the butterflies, and like the whistle sounding on the first on our first game with Moadu, Sweden and Tunisia. That's going to be our first game. That'll be the opening game in Monterrey, and just like feeling that energy of the crowd, of like that initial roar from both the Sweden and Tunisian fans. Like World Cup has started, first game for both of these teams. Like let's effing go. Like that to me, like that adrenaline rush will be like unlike anything I've ever experienced before. And I think that's what I'm looking forward to most. And then obviously like the first goal that goes in, whether it's going to be Alexander Isak or Victor Gyökeres, is going to make or break that moment for me. But
probably Gyökeres.
Yeah, sure.
It's talking to people who are on the media side of things. A lot of them have played formally. Alexi Lalas is a good example of that. There are other examples we've had on this show, and you yourself, playing here in the U.S. and obviously playing overseas. What components of the experience overseas, what are we missing here in American soccer that you would like to see more of as we continue to develop as a soccer nation?
Whoa, that's the $1 billion question, isn't it, Nathan? There's a couple of different things, and I've been fortunate enough to see every crevice of this pyramid. Right, I played at the Division III level. I played against some Division I teams in spring games. I played at a high club academy level growing up. I called Division III, Division I. Third division, second division, MLS. Like I've seen.
Oh crap!
Uh-oh. Wi-Fi.
Right. Well, yeah, frozen there. Give it 3, 2, 1. Okay, no. So I will keep an eye out for it. But yeah, no, that was
cool.
That was fun. That was good. I was really looking forward to what his answer was.
Yeah, well, good conversation with Tyler. We'll see if we can get him back on as soon as possible here. If not, though, again, another great talk. And I love the some of the similarities. I feel like a lot of us have similar stories in the U.S. when it comes to being surrounded by this game. We mentioned how players develop later in the U.S. Typically, they get into the sport much later in the U.S. I mean, 13 years old, man. He wasn't playing at 5, 6, 7 years old. So it's interesting, really interesting story in his come up. Obviously, getting to the top level. Is he back?
No, he's not. I was just saying, I was bringing up the point about, some American sports people pick up the football or basketball like in high school or getting into college. Yep. And it's like, you can't do that with soccer, really. You really can't do that. You've got to pick that up at an age of 8 or 9, 10, 11, whatever it is. Maybe a little bit younger than that, to be quite honest with you. I mean, technically, every kid probably plays soccer at like age of 4 or like 5. But I mean, they all kind of like either, I want to play baseball, want to play basketball, want to play football, whatever it is. So you don't really get people to stay all the way out. Maybe they'll go back to soccer at a later date. But yeah, no, it's something that's is always interesting to me. I don't think we're probably going to get Tyler back on, but
okay.
Yeah, no, that's just we give it like a couple more minutes, like 2 minutes, and then see what happens. But. No, I was really interested to see what he had to say about, not captivating, but, what are we missing here in soccer? I think flares is definitely number one. That's probably something that we are missing for sure. Flares, probably doing what Saudi did yesterday, which is throw stuff at the higher. Oh, there's Tyler. I was about to say, throwing stuff at the higher ups of the team when they lost yesterday. That was crazy, but yeah.
I have no idea what happened. I apologize. This is a brand new laptop. I got this 2 days ago, so I'm pissed that went down. But I apologize. So American soccer and where we need to go comparatively to Europe. Like I'm on a call tonight for AC Boise and FC Naples for League One on CBS Sports. I've watched like 3 or 4 of Boise's games so far. 7,000 person soccer specific stadium in Boise, Idaho, and their fans are locked in and engaged for all 90 minutes. I've seen games at the MLS level where fans are just sort of like, yeah, this is a Saturday afternoon. I'm just here because the rest of my family's here, engaged for maybe the last 15 minutes of the game. There's still such a big disconnect in this country, I think, on multiple different, in all divisions and across the board of like fans and media and the product being put out there by the respective leagues and sort of like getting this universal buy-in and getting this like sort of understanding when you go to a game and as a supporter of that team, right? Of like paying attention to the game, seeing exactly what's going on the field, understanding the storylines. And a lot of that has to do with whether it be like visibility from broadcast partners, whether it be visibility from the league and how their social media is run and everything like that. There's so many different things. We could spend 3 hours talking about that. But I just think that like when you take a look at watching European games, going down a 3rd or 4th division in some of the biggest countries in the world, or even some smaller ones, like there's such a buy-in when they're at the game and sort of like what they're doing. And I just feel like we miss that on for teams at all levels in this country. And closing that gap, I think is really important. And there's a number of things we can do to close that gap. But I still think that we need to like, when fans are at games, how do we make sure they're engaged? How do we make sure they're connecting with our product? And it's not just something to do when they're going to the game.
What do you think of the DCFC crowd? Because didn't you do the DCFC versus Chicago game in the U.S. Open Cup?
St. Louis or DC?
Detroit City FC. Didn't you do the Detroit City?
I did not.
I did not. Your voice. No. Okay, never mind then. My apologies. I sounded like you, so I thought it was okay. Anyway, let's not act like that happens. Anyway, my last question for you is, if you could go see any artist or band, dead or alive, who are you going to see at a live concert?
Wow. That's a phenomenal question. So this is recency bias just because like I've seen them a few times and they're one of my favorite bands right now. but like going to a Mountjoy concert and I saw them at Red Rocks, it was like one of the best nights of my life with a couple of my college soccer buddies, and I had such a good time. If I could just run that night back, it probably would be pretty good. But my family are huge Jimmy Buffett fans, and I've been to probably 15 concerts.
Ooh.
And if I could go to one more Jimmy Buffett concert with my dad and my sisters, that would probably be the one.
Okay.
I used to my dad would pay me to walk around and perform Jimmy Buffett at family parties for all my older aunts and uncles. So I actually got paid, like, when I was young. But yeah, Jimmy Buffett.
What was your go-to
awesome
song? What was your go-to song that you were performing?
Margaritaville.
It's the classic. Yeah, why not?
Wasted Away. Of
course. How old were you when you were performing Margaritaville?
old enough to talk, at least. I don't know. I like I said, I was around Dad, so hearing all of his music all the time. That's how it goes. I did have one more quick question. I know we got to wrap it up, Ryan, but I just wanted to ask, what makes the game beautiful, in your opinion?
Oh man, being able to experience every type of emotion in a split second, the movement of the ball and of people with the ball, and just like I know that this sounds lame given the fact that you said what makes the beautiful game beautiful. Like, there's just something about a really well worked goal, like a really well worked team goal, or really like or a banger, and it's just like that is like it just is so appeasing to the eye, more so than any dunk on a basketball court, more so than any 60-yard bomb from Geno Smith to Omar Cooper, which we haven't seen yet, but I'm just going to throw it out there. More so than any Jalen Brunson 3. Like, there's just something about the instantaneous. There's something about the instantaneous nature of the sport, and flipping from defending to attacking and hitting the post on one end, scoring on the other. I don't know. And it's just like there's also nothing like a goal, right? We've always tried to find the comparison of like a goal comparatively to a 10-0 run in basketball or 2 touchdowns in football, whatever it might be. There's nothing to compare it to a goal in soccer, and it's so difficult to score. So all of those things wrapped in, though. I don't know if that was a good answer, but that was an impossible philosophical question for me to answer.
Yeah, I had to put you on the spot before we let you go. Tyler Terens, thank you so much for joining us here on Inside the Game. Best of luck with everything moving forward.
Thanks, boys. Had a blast. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. It's Tyler Terens. Ryan, let's tell the people about Barca Academy. I know we got to get to a break here. It's been a minute. Great conversation with Tyler, though. But Barca Academy is a proud sponsor of the National Soccer Network and the official academy of FC Barcelona in the United States. Designed for boys and girls aged 6 to 18, Barca Academy camps follow and replicate the FC Barcelona game model. Same philosophy used by Barca's professional coaching staff. Right now, you can save $30 on registration by using promo code FCB30. Again, that's FCB30, or scan the QR code on your screen. Find a camp near you at fcbarcelona.us/camps.
In Barca camp, I sing my song "Grown" on and off of the field. Don't miss the time to register.
Sign up now for Barca camp.
Inside the Game continues here on the National Soccer Network. Really good conversation with Tyler Terens, man. we all strive to get to that point in our career, and obviously with his playing career kind of, gave him an opportunity early on, obviously, to go play overseas. It's not an easy thing to do, especially that quickly too, like that late in life, to be able to figure something out and go play at a professional level. Not an easy thing at all, but he's fun, man. I got to see if we can bring him back on at some point. Would love to do so. Obviously, he's going to be a little busy here in a month, but maybe once it's all wrapped up, once it's all said and done, we can have him back on. But yeah, let's continue our Can We Say That segment. We're talking a little U.S. men's national team. Obviously, World Cup was the focus yesterday. But let's get back to the USA conversation, shall we, Ryan?
Was the last one the round of 16 one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it was.
Gotcha. Can we say that if Christian Pulisic was on a European nation, the spotlight wouldn't be on him at all?
No. If anything, wait, if he was from a European nation?
If he was playing for a European nation, would he be in the spotlight at all?
Yeah. I mean, yes, absolutely. I think for a couple of reasons. Number one, and I know that people don't like to admit this part, right? And even the European pundits and stuff. And it's not because of ego or anything like that, but I really do think the pressure of being an American playing in Europe does matter. That is a label that you carry with you everywhere that you go. And it is something that you have to fight through, and it's something you have to prove yourself through. We've seen this with many of players. The focus and the target will always be on your back, regardless. But also, I think Christian Pulisic brings with him a level of, the headlines. He brings with him a resume, if you will. I mean, there's still ultimately going to be a focus. And if anything, I mean, I think the European fan bases are a little bit more relentless and unrelenting than a lot of other fan bases and a lot of other supporters in the world. And, if anybody can tell us about that, the guy we just had on our show can probably be the one to tell you about just how intense those folks are. So, no, I think the focus, the spotlight would absolutely be. Now, is it to the same extent that it is with the national team? No. I mean, we're going to take our opportunity to talk about him all the time because he is the guy. I mean, regardless of, he have the
you don't think he'd be in the spotlight at all if he was a European?
I do.
You do?
I do think you would. Yes.
No way. Pulisic would not be in the
spotlight.
spotlight.
Would be on him.
He would not
what
be
are
in
we
the
talking
spotlight.
about? What are we talking about when it comes to spotlight? Like he would be
the spotlight
best
that he
player
is
on
in
the
right
field,
now with
or-
the USA. The spotlight that's on him, like everyone's dissecting his every single move. Or
would he be?
you watch.
Oh, maybe not every move, but
But
I
like,
don't think
he's
he
a
would
Premier.
be
If you ever watch a Premier League game when he was playing at Chelsea, you will always hear
no
an American, the American. I've never seen so much coverage for him making a move to Chelsea on NBC Sports. The coverage was on him. They even mentioned it with Chris Richards. Every time Tyler Adams touched the field, the American. Chris Richards, the American. Brendan Aronson, the American. I don't think he'd be in the spotlight at all. He would just be another guy. He would just be another guy that's good, but it would be like no pressure on the guy, and all he would have to do is go ball. That's all he would do.
But
maybe
for
from
the
their
amount of money
fans,
that
maybe from the fans if he was
yeah, that's what-
underperforming.
okay.
But to be honest
Right.
with you, from a national team perspective, there would be no spotlight on him, like at all. Like the only spotlight, the only pressure that would be on him is if it's for the team. If he were to mess up with, let's just say he were to play for Croatia, because that was one of the teams that he could have played for in the international stage, there would be no pressure on the guy. There'd be nothing. Because he'd be all under Luka Modric, Perisic, and someone else with an itch. Mandzukic. There's another one.
But what about the amount of money that he's looking for, though? Like that's the portion of this that, I mean, if he's asking for the type of money that he's asking for, and even in these rumored transfers that we've seen, come out about, Pulisic could go to this club, or he's rumored to be interested to go to this club, the amount that he's asking for, I'm going to ask a lot in return if I'm paying that kind of money to bring you to my club. Especially
How much is he
if
asking
you're not,
for?
I don't know. I don't remember what the last number was last time we discussed it. But, I mean, if it's a significant amount, I'm going to expect you to play well. So, there could be pressure from that as well. Is he going to be the player? No. I mean, you plop him on any of the top Premier League teams right now. I mean, he's not even talked about it. We compared him to what? Bukayo Saka on Arsenal? I mean, like even that
Saka's
kid,
got way more
not
pressure
even
than Pulisic.
That's what I'm saying. He's gonna have way more weight on his shoulders than Pulisic ever. So to that degree, I guess if you're talking about media pressure, Yeah, I mean, it might be a little bit easier on the guy to not have everybody on him so much because obviously at AC Milan, they need him.
So
And right now
Pulisic's
they don't
on
have
103,000 per week, which in terms of the elite players, that's really not much at all.
So I guess, yeah.
No, I don't think
let me ask you this. What is a prime contract for a top
250?
end player? Let's say
250
a
a week, 200K a
Really?
week.
Okay.
That's,
So what would that amount to a year? I don't.
I don't know. He's
thing about
he's
soccer that's
making
confusing.
roughly $4.3 million a year.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I don't know how much
right.
that would be. I'd say
So
probably doubled, so closer to 10 probably. Closer to 10 is probably what
Okay.
I would assume for
Yep.
this. But no, I just don't think if Pulisic, the way that he's portrayed now from obviously USA media, and again, when people are out here saying the LeBron James of soccer, and I get it, I mean, it's a lot of expectations. Then you obviously have him, beefing with the old heads, which I do have a can we say that about the old heads? That's a funny one. But they like, and also being an American, like, no one wants to see America succeed in the game of soccer. No one. If anyone says that, yeah, it would be so great. Yeah, they're either an American or they're a European that they're lying to you. Like, yeah, it'd be so good. No, they want America to suck at everything because they're so good at. Like, if we're being completely honest, are we really playing flag football in the Olympics and we're gonna put the NFL guys in there? What's the point of even playing it? You're gonna get locked up.
Yeah.
You're telling me
Yeah.
some guy from London, England is gonna lock up Jay Jettas. No, not at all. But
hey,
no, I don't
here's
think Pulisic
what I'll say. If he wants to be the LeBron James of soccer, number one, he has to have a son, and he has to get that son into the pro league that he's playing, and he's got to play with him, and also he's got to come back to the MLS and play until he's 40 plus years old. So I don't know where he's going to come play, but and
then probably sit in the middle school gym and announce where he's going. And then probably go to the finals and lose all the time. He does, actually, Pulisic's undefeated in Champions League finals. Just put it out there. He's never lost.
I'm taking my talents.
Taking my
Sorry,
talents
I
to
didn't mean to interrupt you.
Manchester. Anyway, moving on here. Can we say that our outside backs, Anthony Robinson, Max Arvston, Serginho Dest, Baby Timbwe in that mix, is the best outside back pairing in the group?
That's hard for me because I would have to look at the other teams. You probably have more of a
we can say that.
ready to answer for this. I mean, between Dest and obviously we talked about Anthony Robinson's ability and how good he's been in the Prem. Obviously, the injury concerns, that's always a thing that comes up. Anthony Robinson's had to fight through some nagging injuries and even a knee injury coming into the season. I think that sidelined him for a while that he had to rehab from. So, but no, I mean, I think they're a really strong grouping. I don't know what the other groups look like necessarily, but yeah, I mean, Anthony Robinson, I talked about him specifically, and this was back before you were on the show. I don't even think you were here quite yet, as JT and I, but I talked about how he is in so many ways in terms of setting up what we want to do in scoring and in defending and everything, what he can do. He is one of the biggest missing pieces. He is one of the biggest pillars of this team. I put him up there with Weston McKennie and the Pulisics, and obviously Flo Balogun, the way he's playing. No, 100%. He's vital to this team's success for sure.
We might have to do this one for all the groups. I didn't think about it. Maybe we go like position by position group. I would say, I think that Anthony Robinson, Serginho Dest. I mean, you could throw Timbwe in there, to be completely honest with you. I think that this group, in terms of the outside backs, I mean, I said the midfielders, this is the strongest position group. I think that's probably the second strongest position group are the outside backs, especially if they're set up if they are set up with the 3 at the back or 5 at the back. Those 2 outside backs are really going to thrive because, again, you really can't put our outside backs isolated in one-on-one situations with the other team's wingers. So if they are set up in a proper way, like they were in Japan and all that, they would be solid. All right, final question here of the U.S. men's national team. Can we say that? Can we say that every ex-American soccer player has an opinion on USA soccer, yet zero solutions?
That's a really good question, and I'm gonna say yes. Listen, I love listening to the likes of when Landon Donovan gets upset about the way that soccer is structured in the United States, and him and Tim Howard have these conversations about what should it look like? What are we missing? Even that question that I just asked Tyler a minute ago. I mean, everybody has a different answer. And I see members of the media, I see other members, and they it is so easy. And to that degree, I'll admit that, maybe there's a touch of hypocrisy when it comes to the media and what I'm doing. But my answer to echoing these sentiments and talking about soccer, but not providing any solutions, is not that I have the solutions. It's more to, I'm speaking the language of the people, right? And I'm giving the people the fuel they need and the platform they need to share their personal stories. And I think it was interesting because a lot of those comments under those videos were like, $250 or $200 a month to play in the UK. It's like $250 is the team picture. I mean, that's literally all it is. You get a picture of your kid with the rest of the team for $250 in Dallas, Texas. So, there are issues. I don't know the answers to these issues, but I would expect that the guys who played at the youth level, played in the clubs, played at college, played in the MLS, went overseas in Europe, those guys would actually have some solutions. Like Landon Donovan, man, I love what you're doing, my guy. I love it, because I'm always for make sports more available. Make baseball more available. Why everything's going to travel league now. Little League is dying off. I hate that. I absolutely hate that. Little League was some of the best memories I've ever had in my life. And I grew a lot through that experience. Football is the same way. Every sport is becoming that way. Hockey is an extreme. Hockey's even beyond what soccer is, but that's just because of equipment and ice time. I'm all for making sports more available to kids because it's not just about how do we get pro and we go, kick Europe's what. It's more about the other things, the popularity of the sport, but also keeping people around in this sport. You see kids play it. And I played it once upon a time, and then I picked up the ball and ran away with it. And they're like, okay, this sport's not for you. We got to find something else, but it's keeping people around. It's growing the popularity. And I think more than that, it's giving kids an opportunity to develop physically, mentally, emotionally through sport. And if they can't afford to do that, I mean, they're just going to game all day the way any other kid plays. I think all those things are important. But again, provide something of use for us. It's one thing to yell about it. It's another thing to actually provide a solution.
Yeah, no, they all kind of just mention things. Fabian's talking about Dempsey. Dempsey talks more about the games. He's on a national network. He doesn't have I don't think he has a podcast or anything like that. He just talks about the games.
If anything, Dempsey should understand. I mean, Dempsey came from a poor part of Texas, man. Like he wasn't necessarily. Dempsey did not grow up in a.
Yeah, he grew up in a trailer.
Family.
He grew up in a trailer in the backyard of his grandma's house.
I mean, great story. So someone like that should understand, and should be able to provide some sort of solutions.
Yeah, it's just more of like the people, the Donovans that are like, it's so bad. It's so bad. Well, then what's your solution? I don't know.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
I know exactly. we were victims here at the podcast on the same thing about like, we'll talk about soccer needs to be this, and that. We don't have the solutions necessarily, but I mean, youth sports in general are all over the place, especially in America. I mean, getting a training session with a coach, I'm sure probably costs upwards of $150 an hour of sessions like that. So yeah, no, I would agree that they all kind of say something, yet there are no solutions. Hopefully one day we can get to those solutions and we can have a more affordable, better product for every single person.
And it will take a collective effort. Like you can't just have like Landon Donovan can't just lay out a plan and everybody listens to him. Like it's going to take a collective effort from USA Youth Soccer to make something like this happen.
I'm very curious to see if Pulisic will ever be in the media. I highly doubt it.
Hell no. No. That's like trying out Bill Belichick in the media. Like, hey man, that was fun for all of a week, and then we realize you're kind of a square. So like go back to doing whatever it is that you do. Not that I don't like the guy, I just don't think he's a media guy. I don't know if he has the ability to laugh at himself the way that
Pulisic probably not. He's probably gonna get offended from everyone, so he'd probably get mad. Real quick, Fabian did tell me that Florentino Perez is going to give an exclusive interview today at 9 o'clock. So 9 o'clock
Okay.
Spanish time. So it's probably
Okay.
3 or 4
Mr.
o'clock.
Destroyer of Worlds.
Yeah, I don't know what he's gonna do, but he'll probably say something crazy about
Woo!
God knows what. But yeah, no, it's kind of funny. He's talking about cheating and everything.
man.
Like, are we for sure that you guys haven't had any fishy money? Are you sure the books all add up and all that stuff? Just saying.
We got to get someone up there on that stage to debate him. That's what I'm saying. We got to get someone else up there to put me up there. I don't even know anything. I'll just go and ask him a bunch of questions he probably ain't gonna like to hear. So anyways, so that was Can We Say That for the U.S. men's national team. Yeah, I mean the excitement is palpable. I'm ready to go. I'm looking forward to what this summer is going to be, and to what Tyler said, like we have been building everything we've been doing has been building up to this moment.
But Dad says it's 6 hours ahead of us. So yeah, it'll be 3 o'clock when Florentino Perez probably goes and crashes out on the entire world. Real quick, Fabian mentions that here in Puerto Rico, the the leagues charge something like $200-$400 a year, and it includes uniforms. I think what the phrase that he said is kind of like the rec league. So I'm sure their rec leagues are probably relatively cheap. I mean, I'm sure AYSO's got to be cheap, right? AYSO, because they do like half a seat cost per season.
Like short season.
Oh, it's like $250. Okay, it's the same thing. Yeah. So, gotcha.
Yep.
$30 for uniforms? Jeez. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
And that is
But
okay, gotcha. All right. Sounds good. Looks like that. Look, that's affordable, guys.
absolutely. But yeah, I mean I think the impact of the World Cup is going to be significant, and I think hopefully the clubs can capitalize off of it, but I'm all for it. Listen, I'm all for making this game more available, more affordable to anyone who's able to play or wants to play. I just don't think as a country we don't have the luxury of being able to turn people away from the sport. Like if other countries, fine. You know what I mean? Like if someone flames out like in basketball or football in this country, it's like, well, a lot of people
They just become memes at that point.
Exactly.
It's like Anthony Bennett.
Or-
Whoa.
Yeah, or they just, start a podcast and then they just start yelling about the sport and then they
Look at
become
Draymond
popular that
Green.
way. Right. Or you're 5'9", so you become a broadcaster like myself. Like there are options out there for people who don't make it in the sport, but
Or it's like, what happened to Zion Williamson? Is it the biggest bust of all time?
Yeah.
Dave says, never question the Spanish club's financial books. No, Dave, I'm sure Real Madrid and Barcelona are super, super clean. I'm sure those two clubs have never done anything wrong.
I am the best there ever was.
Wasn't there wasn't Barca in like 2020 like $1 billion in debt or whatever it was? Like they started selling weddings. Like you could have your wedding at Camp Nou. Like all of a sudden, like during COVID, they're like, we need more money. Let's have weddings. Financially speaking, Spanish teams are like the SEC in football teams. I would say the Premier League is more like that. Oh, wait, actually, no. The Premier League would be more like the Big Ten because they're more. I see what you did there, Dad. That's a good one because the top of the top is the top of the top, and then kind of gets to the bottom. It's kind of not very competitive, and then you get to the Big Ten. It's more like the Prem because there's more competitive teams. It's more evened out. It's a more balanced league. Even though Man City just wins everything, and which is Man City's Ohio State. So yeah, I guess it all makes sense.
Let's take a quick break here. Let's tell people about Man City. On the other side, we got some MLS news going on. Maybe some not so great news for Major League Soccer. First, Man City soccer camps are a proud sponsor of the National Soccer Network, bringing world-class training inspired by Man City's global football philosophy to players across the United States. Open to boys and girls of all skill levels, these camps focus on a technical development, decision-making, and playing the game the City way. Right now, you can save $30 on registration by using promo code MCNSN30. Again, that's MCNSN30, or scan the QR code on your screen. Find a camp near you at usacamps.mancity.com. You are watching Inside the Game on the National Soccer Network. I'm Ryan. He's Nate. JT's our boss. We got James, who's a producer. And that's about all the people in it. Well, we got Bianca, too. We got everybody. We got the whole clan working as one as we get ready for the World Cup here in 2026. It's been a long time building up to this, and I'm looking forward to everything included in this. Let's talk about the domestic.
You gave our guy Austin no love.
Austin. Oh, man, I forgot Austin. Okay, all right, sorry. We got to give me a whole list of everybody in the company, and I'll just read them off on the show. Every single person, every producer, every camera operator, y'all are great. But anyways, let's get into the domestic league conversation. Major League Soccer, a quote from Herc Gomez about James Rodriguez leaving, quote, not being an issue. Jaime,
what? James
sorry.
Rodriguez.
Leaving, not being an issue. How is it not an issue? I don't know. Tell us, Ryan.
The quote from Herc Gomez is, a failed stint would have been if they paid James millions to be their star player, and he did not play. MLS needs players like James. This is like any other club getting a 6-month loan for a player who's trying to get himself ready in Minnesota, and Minnesota desperately needed him. I don't see anything wrong. Minnesota trying to change something like sell tickets, and maybe a creative player can spark us. This is stupid. He's played like a total of 8 games. I know he played really well in the last game, but he used this league because he can't go anywhere else, which, dude, in 2014, this guy was unreal. Went to Real Madrid, went to Bayern, went to Everton. Didn't really do anything at either place. I guess he wasn't bad on a loan at Everton. But this is a horrible look for the league. Why? Because this guy is a washed-up player at this point in time. And he used this league as a pedestal, as a stepping stone to get his fitness, his touches, to get himself game ready for the World Cup, which he is now leaving the club to go join with Colombia ahead of I think it's 2 weeks from today, is when they start their World Cup preparation. Guys, this guy is using this league to just play 10 games. He probably got paid tons of money for this whole thing, and he just showed up, played a couple of games, and is now out. I mean, he had 5 goals, 2 assists on the year. How many games did this guy 5 games. Oh my God. 5 games. 5 games. Yeah, that's great, guys. That's great. Yeah, let's just keep letting all these washed up players continue to cook in our league. But anyway, just a bad look for 5 games, 2 assists, 1 goal. For sure. Yeah, 3 goal contributions in 5 games, and then he just gets up and leaves. Yeah, that's great. No, it's a failed stint because they brought in a high name guy and a big name guy, and he just showed up, played 5 games, and said, "Yeah, I'm gonna leave," and he's probably getting paid for it all. Because it's Minnesota and it's the MLS, they probably didn't think of anything like that. Shout out to James for just finding a loophole in the system of the soccer world and chose the MLS to dominate Minnesota. This is why I can't take you seriously in any sports outside of my guy Ant-Man. I love Anthony Edwards. I think he's a dog. I just like that he doesn't care about anyone. This is why the state of Minnesota, I can't take you seriously in anything outside of, Minnesota Duluth University hockey. That's really about all I can take you seriously in, because you guys have the longest drought without a championship. Minnesota United clearly isn't doing you any favors in the University of Minnesota. Row the boat! Yeah. What has PJ Fleck done for you? Absolutely nothing. That's why I can't take the state seriously in sports.
Desperation can really be seen and understood when you settle. When people see you settle on whatever it is, and you know that you could obviously do better for yourself in whatever situation in life, but you decide to just settle on this. I'm going to settle on this because it is what it is. The only option that I have available to myself right now. It is in my mind, you're right. It is a sign of desperation. But it is to Herc Gomez's point, it's an opportunity for the team to, again, just sell tickets, bring people out. Look at who we have, new shiny object. Come out and spend your money. Come watch him play. And so that is, from a financial perspective for Minnesota, yeah, why not? Just bring him in for a few games for the MLS. What's the big deal? I think the issue is that it's not, we can call it a stepping stone. And for the young players coming up through the MLS, it certainly is a stepping stone. It is a prospect league. However, the free agency side of this, I do think it is the free agency league as well. The only problem is, are you able to actually hold on to these guys, or are they just coming to get, leftovers and then leaving wherever they need to go in order to, do what they actually want to do? Are they just using you as a training ground? That's where it becomes really hard for me, because it doesn't seem like there's a lot of respect in that specific scenario for the league itself. Again, you're just simply a glorified training ground so that you can stay fresh, stay ready for the World Cup. But if there was no World Cup coming up, you probably wouldn't see this. You probably wouldn't see these moves. You probably wouldn't see players just joining late just so that they can, again, just get their bodies ready for what's coming up. So I have no problem with Major League Soccer being a free agency league. I mean, if there's a 32, 33, 34-year-old floating around out there, and when you look at James Rodriguez's career, I mean, going back to, he's been playing since 2006. I mean, he had 6 years on Real Madrid. Obviously, he was only with Everton for a year. I'm pretty sure his best stint was probably with Madrid. But outside of that, he's been playing for a long, long time. I'm okay with being the free agency league. That's okay. That, in my mind, is not a bad thing. The only issue is he comes in for a handful of matches and then he's gone. At that point, it seems like pandering for Major League Soccer. But also, I'll ask you this question, Ryan, because I hear you talk a lot about washed up players coming over here and playing. What other option do they have in order to raise? Yes. What other option do they have?
Develop our young players and get them out of here.
I know.
That's
I get it.
I've been watching this USA Soccer documentary on Vice TV, I think. And to be honest with you, I don't think we've really changed much in terms of our domestic league since the 70s when Pele showed up. Like, they would talk about it. Pele was at a game, 70,000 people or 20,000, 30,000 people would show up. Pele's not playing at the game for the New York Cosmos. 1,000, 2,000 people might show up. It's the same thing with Messi. Our domestic league hasn't changed at all, and I don't want to be a free agent league. That is a horrible look for us because we are giving these old washed-up players runs within our team where maybe they're taking a spot from a domestic American player that is a young 18, 19, 20-year-old who is, look, Messi showing up to Inter Miami, it's not going to help the United States necessarily grow the game. Sure, people will go out to go see him, but we've already done this experiment with Pele. It didn't change anything, really. We still suck. Our domestic leagues haven't overtaken. The sport hasn't overtaken any sport other than maybe hockey or baseball. It's the only ones where they could maybe overtake. But we've done this rodeo before. We've done this dance before. It will help sell tickets for that particular team, that being Inter Miami, that being the New York Cosmos. Those are the two teams that it's helped. And obviously probably the away stadiums, it'll help. But that takes away a spot from a young American domestic player. And James Rodriguez, who's getting paid $684,000 to be here for 5 matches, I mean, what's going on? We're just trying to sell tickets in Minnesota. Look, I don't think anyone really wants to watch a soccer game outdoors in Minnesota in May, April, or March. That sounds like a horrible way to spend your day outside in the Minnesota winter or whatever the remains of the winter. I think it's a horrible look. No, we are giving away opportunities, which, by the way, I just saw the bottom on my phone notification. Liverpool is getting ready to launch a bid for Jan Diamande, the UPSL guy that's now valued at $75 billion. That's pretty cool. And he played high school soccer here in Florida. I think that's pretty cool. Not an American, by the way. But no, I'm not okay with our domestic league being a free agent league. How do you think, let's say, how do you think the French American or the French basketball leagues or the English, I don't know, like the Spanish soccer or basketball leagues would be like, yeah, just give us like, I don't know, Kyle Lowry at the age of like 36 or like another baller in what's another old DeMar DeRozan at the age of 36 or Steph Curry at the age of like 45, LeBron James when he's 50. Like, let's have them come over here. No, that's horrible. That is a dumb thing to do. That's dumb. They don't want that. I'm
gonna have to disagree with you on that one.
What is it going to grow their game domestically? No, it's not.
Would it grow their game? No. I mean, I don't think the game necessarily needs any help growing, especially in a place like France. But would they absolutely take? Yes. Yes, they would take Curry at 44, 45. Yes, absolutely they would. Kyle Lowry, all those guys. DeMar DeRozan. Like, it raises the excitement level. But the James Rodriguez thing is weird because of, again, just how brief it was. But you're right. I mean, to your point of taking a roster spot away from a kid who probably deserves it or someone who's worked their way into that spot, you're 100% correct. But we don't have any American-born bona fide superstars. I know we love our Christian Pulisics and our Weston McKennies and those guys, but until we get to that point, it's yes, those types of players, albeit 30 plus years old and well past the prime of their career, are going to be the ones that make your league more marketable. I love the USL. Don't get me wrong. Players aren't coming here to play in the USL. They're coming here to play in Major League Soccer because of the money and the resources.
USL is rivaling the MLS in terms of views, but the MLS has all these different players, then something's got to be completely wrong.
I think there are certain matchups probably in the USL that get more viewership than others, but there's no 5 teams in the USL that are valued at over $1 billion. That's I mean, I know that money doesn't tell the whole story, but we've mentioned this before. The MLS is top heavy, right? You have your top clubs who people really care about. They really show up to. They love seeing play. They love seeing succeed.
Well,
you know, the
look
Miamis
at Vancouver.
of the world.
They really care about their club, and they're leaving.
But you can care about your club, but still not be financially viable. You know, like.
But if they cared so much and they kept showing up, they wouldn't leave.
The people who do care, but clearly not enough people care. Like,
so then that's an MLS issue, and it's not growing the league. Having all these superstars is not growing anything. Thomas Mueller should have brought in all these different types of people to come watch him play. He plays for the Whitecaps. They literally went to the final. And they're moving, and they have old superstars, and they have American kind of borderline USA men's national team players, and they are moving. Clearly, this aging superstar free agent league that we're talking about clearly does not help. Clearly.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is Canada too, and I mean, like, let's not pretend like Major League Baseball hasn't.
First off, why are MLS teams even in Canada? That's the dumbest thing. Why are MLS teams even in Canada?
Maybe Toronto. Maybe I'll give you that because Toronto's so close to
Vancouver,
the US anyways,
Montreal.
like, yeah, no, it shouldn't. Yeah, no, I agree with what you're saying because it's just so far down the list in Canada. I mean, it's not even. You talk about popularity relative to other sports in the U.S. Everything is hockey in Canada. I mean, even their best. Shea will tell you this. Dylan Brooks will tell you this. You know, like everything is hockey in that country. So I agree. But from an American perspective, I guess that's kind of the angle I was coming from talking about the MLS. I know Canadian teams are a part of it, but I think, you know, if you have a chance to get star power, you take it. And the things that we're mentioning about what the MLS needs to do, it is happening, but I also think it takes time. It takes time. But AC Grand Rapids is about to be the best soccer team that ever walked the face of the planet. So book it here on Inside the Game. Grand Rapids, Michigan, 616. Anyways, let's take another quick break here, and we'll get back when we get back. Let's get into our all sports content a little bit here on the show. We got Who to Betta here on Wednesday. Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. That's coming up on the other end here on Inside the Game.
Experience the thrill that came like never before with NSN's Game Rewind. Dive into full match commentaries enhanced with cutting-edge dynamic graphics, letting you relive the highs and lows of your favorite matches in astonishing detail. Whether it's a championship win or a legendary play, NSN Game Rewind bridges the past and future with a broadcast experience designed to captivate. Call 586-304-4405 and start watching today.
Back live inside the game here on the National Soccer Network. Nate Wangler and Ryan Glinsky getting into our all sports content here on the show. I wanted to talk about a couple of other things heading into, this all sports content. I know it's an abbreviated portion of our show, but I kind of wanted to change pace here after we get done with Who to Betta. I got something else coming up, but we got a really good Who to Betta segment on the way. Go ahead and lay that one out for us, Ryan.
Who to Betta? Two of the most underperforming quarterbacks in the playoffs: Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. Actually, Josh Allen is a little bit more performing. Anyway, here are their stats. All it took was their best year. They showed up in the league at the same time, both first-round draft picks. Josh Allen, his best year was 2020, 4,500 passing yards, 49 total touchdowns, 421 rushing yards. Last season in 2025, I also took last season's stats, 3,600 yards, 25 passing touchdowns, 14 rushing touchdowns. There's a big emphasis on him this year. 579 rushing yards, a one-time MVP, four-time Pro Bowler. On the other side for Lamar Jackson, who did lose to our Detroit Lions this year, shout out. Best year was in 2024, 4,100 passing yards, 45 total touchdowns, 915 rushing yards. Last season, he did only play 13 games, 2,500 passing yards, 21 passing touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns, 349 rushing yards, and a 2-time MVP, 4-time Pro Bowler. Can't beat Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions. So who to Betta, Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson?
You know what? I love more than anything else in this world a good dual threat quarterback. There is nothing better. I love the new wave. I love how college schemes have started to impact the way that the NFL is called now. It used to be that old school, like pro style, power eye, blah, 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 blah. And that's how it just was. You had your West Coast offense, you had different stuff in the NFL, but the RPOs, the read options, the running with the quarterback, that was all college. That wasn't the NFL for the longest time. And then you had players like Lamar Jackson, who came out of Louisville. And it's like, well, what do we do with a player like this? How do we scheme around a quarterback who is so unbelievably good at doing both things? And John Harbaugh, in his brilliance, took a page out of the Muskegon High School playbook here in the state of Michigan.
I'm sure Muskegon. I'm sure he went to Muskegon.
There is a connection. There's a connection with Tony Anise there. There's a story there. I'm not going to tell the whole story here on air right now because we only got 20 minutes left, but there were elements of that option offense, which Muskegon has the most wins of any high school football team in the country, right? And Tony Anise is very well connected. And so there is not as many degrees of separation between him and Harbaugh. Again, there is a story there. But what I will say is he took that option offense that we only preliminarily saw in high school and in college, and he took that to the Ravens, and he created a system for Lamar Jackson to thrive in. The only issue is Lamar Jackson's been hurt a lot of times, and I think that's the reason why they haven't been able to finish it out and actually win a Super Bowl, because he just hasn't been
or maybe
available.
they choke in the playoffs.
Yeah, it could certainly be that too. But you can't really point at either of these guys and be like, well, he finished it. Well, they've both choked in big time situations. Josh Allen maybe most notoriously has choked in big time situations. From a pure arm perspective, Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the National Football League, just from the power arm perspective. But from the dual threat and the ability to do a little bit of everything and do it exceptionally well, someone who you have to account for. And essentially, defensively, if I'm playing against Lamar Jackson, I have to have someone spying on him at all times. Like, I cannot afford to take my eyes off of him. Otherwise, he will burn you. I'm going to go with Lamar Jackson on this one. Slight edge to Lamar Jackson, but I'm going to go with him as my who to Betta.
Yeah, that's just crazy. I'm going Josh Allen. Simply put, dual threat quarterbacks don't win Super Bowls. They truly don't. You could say Josh Allen's a dual threat, but Josh Allen's got a way better arm, way more accurate than Lamar Jackson. Let's take a look at Lamar Jackson's playoff stats. He has thrown a pick in 6 out of his 8 playoff games. He threw 2 picks in his one game where he actually threw for over 300 yards. He's only thrown for over 100 yards, or over 200 yards rather, in 3 out of his 8 playoff games. Lamar Jackson, the only dual threat quarterbacks you could say that have won a Super Bowl is, I guess you could say Russell Wilson. He's a dual threat, and I guess you could probably say tush push Jalen Hurts. That's really about it. But Josh Allen, again, I will say he got rigged this year against the Broncos. That guy got rigged. They should have at least reviewed it. And doesn't the tie always go to the receiver? They're like, nah, it's going to go to the cornerback for the Broncos. Anyway, I'm not saying Josh Allen is this amazing quarterback. They're both these quarterbacks are Hall of Famers. They're both really solid quarterbacks. But if I'm taking one over the other, I'm going Josh Allen. I think he is a better quarterback, more accurate. Yeah. He's got more 4,000 passing yard seasons than Lamar Jackson. We can get all sexy with the dual threat quarterback. It's a sexy appeal. But if you look at the best quarterbacks in the game of football, they all sit in the pocket. They don't bail in the pocket. And look at the greats. They don't bail in the pocket. Lamar Jackson, I think more times than not, will sit there and bail in the quarterback. Which, Shock, by the way, he's entered the chat. He goes, I go crazy with the RPOs in NCAA 26. That is the reason why the quarterbacks suck now in the NFL, is because it's all RPO merchants. That's why Fernando Mendoza is going to suck in the NFL, by the way.
They're more, I think, and to your point, what I do like about Josh Allen, he's a flamethrower. Like, he is old school in the way that he does play. He's not, a scrambler. He does stand in there and throw bullets. I told this story once before, I think, on the show, but I'll tell it again just because we do have new listeners. Someone that I worked with, Mitch Stanizak, I don't know if the name rings a bell at all, but played defensive end at Central Michigan. He was a captain during the Bonamago years. I played with him at West Catholic. He talked about when they went to the Idaho Potato Bowl, they had to play Wyoming, and they had to play against Josh Allen. And they all stood there during warm-ups and just watched Josh Allen throw the football. And he's like, I've never seen a ball quite move like that. I mean, it looked like a spear flying through the air. When you don't even see the rotation of the football.
There's a difference between professionals and college athletes, for sure.
Yeah, but I even said that about Bryce Underwood, though, too. But again, Bryce hasn't quite developed into what we think he could be. Obviously, this year is going to be a big one for him. I saw him at Ford Field during the high school state championship back when he was a sophomore, and I was like, this kid's wild. But anyways, no, I agree, man. I like the old school component to Josh Allen's game. It's great. And I understand that generally speaking, dual threat quarterbacks tend to get hurt in the NFL. I get that too, because they're bigger, they're faster, they're stronger. That's going to happen. And that's why I said, like, Lamar Jackson not being available during large chunks of his career eats away at, his greatness. It really does. And so I think as he gets older, the important thing is can Lamar Jackson become more of that stand in the pocket guy, deliver down the field, than what he was when he came out of college? Because those legs are going to go. Like, they're not going to sustain you for forever. And if you want to be a running back, your career expectancy is already half of what it is anyways. Like, we know what happens to running backs in the National Football League. We know how fast the wheels fall off for running backs. So you're right. Lamar Jackson has to develop that side of his game. But, man, primetime Lamar Jackson, I mean, there's a reason why, like, if you play Madden, like, you better not pick the Ravens in primetime Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, but does he win in real life?
I got a cheat code. Does Josh Allen?
He's been to more AFC championship games.
How many weapons? I know, but he's choked away all of them. How many weapons has he had around all of them?
The last one, and then the one versus the Chiefs where it's like you scored 3 touchdowns in the last like a minute and a half. That's not a choke job. That is just like cinema. That's what that is. That's not. And he didn't get the ball in overtime. I'm not saying Josh Allen is this GOAT of quarterbacks, but if I were to take one, I'm taking Josh Allen. He's been better in the playoffs than Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson doesn't do anything in the playoffs. Legitimately doesn't do anything.
Only means so much if you don't have one of these, then why does it matter what you almost did? I mean, I get it. I hear what you're saying, but
wait,
I don't know, man.
Say that again?
We're talking.
Sorry, you kind of faint in the beginning. What'd you say?
I said if you don't have one of these, then why does it matter?
If you don't have,
a ring.
If you don't have a ring, why does it matter? So rings matter the most?
If we're talking about playoff success, I figured maybe if having one of those, that would be the ultimate deciding factor.
So you think rings are the deciding factor?
oftentimes in terms of
So
comparison
MJ's the
conversations,
GOAT.
yes.
MJ's the GOAT. That's what I was waiting for. So MJ's
No,
the
I'm
GOAT.
using-
You say
I'm
rings
using
matter.
your logic.
MJ's the GOAT. MJ's the GOAT.
using
That's
your
what I was. That's
logic.
why I kept asking that. If rings matter, so MJ's the GOAT then.
I'm
If
using your
rings
logic
matter the
here.
most, you said it here first. 6 to
No,
4.
I didn't say that. I said I'm using your. I'm using what the general.
No,
logic
you said
is,
it.
and the
You
logic that
Shaq,
I've
go
heard
clip
you
that shit.
use
Go clip that.
many a times on this show.
You heard it here
Shaq
first.
will
Nate
clip it
Wangler
too,
thinks
man.
rings matter the most. That
guy-
means Michael Jordan is the GOAT.
Oh man, yep. I mean, sure. You know, I mean, we can define great in multiple different ways, but no, I'm just saying, if you give me prime time Josh Allen and prime time Lamar Jackson, I'm probably going with Lamar on this one. Again, just a thing. Just saying. But I know we only got 4 minutes until we got to get to
Shaq
question
and I
of
have
the
been
day,
arguing in the chat. So he
Oh,
thinks.
boy. What-
So I don't think he heard my point right. I said dual threat quarterbacks don't win Super Bowls, but he was talking. But he brought up Michael Vick, and I think he's been asking me, is Michael Vick a Hall of Famer? I would say yes, but I don't know if the off the field stuff during his career might hurt him getting in. I know, Shrock, you bring up a good point, maybe, but he's not the only Hall of Famer with off-the-field issues, for sure. O.J. Simpson's in it. But that happened after his playing days, and he still stayed in. So I don't know if that off-the-field stuff hurts Michael Vick, personally. I feel like it probably does to the voter and to the people that run the Hall of Fame. I think it probably does. But if you were to take that away and you look at his on-the-field productivity, I would say, yes, Michael Vick is most likely a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, and again, the committee can decide multiple things to keep you out of it. I mean, I know the NFL is not nearly as stingy as like what we see in Major League Baseball, or and it's not also not as.
I think there could be certain things. I feel like the NFL Hall of Fame, especially the NBA Hall of Fame, it's the Hall of very good. It's not Hall of elite.
And as messed up as it was what he did, and if you're like, oh, I'll never forget Mike Vick for being a part of that, I completely understand that. But did it affect the way that he played on the field?
No.
He was
just an idiot.
He was just an idiot. He was just dumb, right? He was just he got caught up in a lifestyle and in a moment where he was just trying to, I don't know, make money or doing it a very messed up way. So like I said, he's come around. Obviously, he's a better person now for it. I'm sure of it, but it didn't help improve his performance on the field. So I don't see where the NFL committee can be like, no, he's not Hall of Fame worthy. Clearly, he's Hall of Fame worthy. It's just, again, he did a messed up thing, and to his credit, he owned it too.
So I just did a quick AI search. Oh, okay. So Michael Vick is in the category of players considered for Hall of Fame despite major off-the-field issues. Brandon Marshall's one of them. Adam Pac-Man Jones, I don't know who that is. Alden Smith and Michael Vick.
You don't know who Pac-Man Jones? That's how I know you're young, man. You don't know who Pac-Man Jones is? You got to look that dude up.
What years did he play?
Nut. Oh, man. What was his career? That's a good question. Adam Pac-Man
He's 42,
Jones.
so... I can't say I know who that guy is.
That's so funny to me. Yeah, he was a head case. So 05 to 2018, I guess, was his last season with the Broncos. But yeah, there's literally like 2-year stretches in here, like between 08 and 2010, where I'm sure he had legal issues the entire time, and had to have a babysitter, beat up the babysitter, all this stuff. Yeah.
So Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, exactly.
Then the players that are notable Hall of Famers with off-field issues: O.J. Simpson, but that was after his playing days. Lawrence Taylor was a major douchebag. Michael Irvin had some, but that was again during his playing days. But he was a Cowboy, so he was going to get in. Brett Favre, I think that's after his playing days. He was also he's a douchebag, horrible person. I don't know who that is. Joe Namath, not having legal issues in his career, was sometimes over. Okay. And then T.O. says, although not a criminal, his Hall of Fame case was delayed due to reputation as a bad teammate and in the locker room.
Come on, man. Come on. Yes, he was a bad teammate. Don't get me wrong, but T.O. is a Hall of Famer. It should be a Hall of Famer. T.O. was the best wide receiver in the league. at his best. Period. End of story. Goodbye. Put a period on the podcast. We're done. Like that dude.
All right, that's been inside the game.
Bad teammate. Man, O.J. Simpson like literally killed a person. And
that was after his playing days, though.
Whatever, man.
That's mainly okay. That's after playing days. So I mean, maybe he did stuff that was covered up. I don't know, but that was after his playing days. Obviously, but you said you wanted to say a point before we get into the question of the day.
No, you know what? Let's just get into question of the day. I can save that for tomorrow. So let's get into it.
Question of the day brought to you by Salt Athletic, an official sponsor of us here at the National Soccer Network. Use promo code and it's at 15 to save 15% off. That number one spelled proof cleat bag. That 100% works. We even tested it ourselves here. Scan that QR code on your screen or visit saltathletic.com. Today, I know we will talk about these guys mainly tomorrow, but we saved it today. Will the Detroit Pistons get a W tonight against the Cavs in Game 5?
Hey, it's all up to whatever the NBA wants to do. You know, do they want to see Cleveland take one on the road, or do they want to see the U.S.
The Magnets.
Or the U.S. My goodness, do they want to see the Pistons take the lead and then maybe force it into a Game 7?
And then give the Knicks even more of a benefit going into the Eastern Conference Finals.
I can't believe that we didn't at some point mention this yesterday. I mean, I'm remiss for not mentioning it. No, not quite. Actually, it had a lot to do. Our buddy Neil Rule and the boys over at Woodward were talking about
the free
this.
Throws.
I
mentioned it yesterday on TikTok.
Yeah, I shot 60 attempts inside the arc. The Pistons did, got 12 free throw attempts. Conversely, Cleveland 37 got 34 free throw attempts. Donovan Mitchell had more free throws than the entire Detroit Pistons in that game. Listen, I don't like constantly talking about the referees, but I mean, if we're being honest with ourselves, and this might be a general question to just the listening or viewing audience, do we honestly believe that that sports aren't crooked or fixed anymore? Like, it almost to me seems too obvious. It seems too obvious what the NBA is trying to do in a lot of these situations, which is get some of these stretches to go the distance. Either that or our referees are just that bad and they just don't know what they're doing out there. So that is 5 times in the last nearly 400 NBA games it's ever happened. And it just so happened to be in a pivotal Game 4 for the Pistons. Yeah, man.
I think this has been set out by LeBron James. That's just cry. It's whine. Donovan Mitchell did exactly that. I think I got to flop more to get these calls. And then since then, the whistle has changed completely. Granted, we were able to win the Game 2 with all the fouls going their way. You could tell the way that game was officiated. And I'm so sick and tired of this. Well, Detroit, we got to be tough. Can't complain. Guys, if we sit up here and we complain about the whole, like, if Cade were to go up there and just complain, yeah, I think I should flop more, I think we should get more whistles, and JB Bickerstaff said that, and we were able to get whistles and we were able to advance, I could care less about that. Like, as long as we're winning, we're advancing, doesn't matter how it happens. Am I going to be pissed off in the moment because it's like, another foul? Are you kidding me? Another foul? Yeah, I would probably be mad in the moment, but if we're able to get to an NBA Finals, say we somehow win an NBA Finals, in 2 years, am I going to care about how it got done? No, I'm going to care more about that we won an NBA championship. Am I going to care about in a year? Do I even care now that watching the Michigan basketball national championship game against UConn, that, hey, they shot so many free throws and they hit 3 jump shots in the national championship game? Do I care about that? No, I think it's an interesting fact that I can tell everyone about. The Pistons, Michigan only hit 3 jump shots and they still won a national championship. But they got to the free throw line. They did it the Shai Gilgeous-Alexander way. But do I care about that? No, they won a national championship. I could care less about that. And in 10 years' time, am I really going to care about how they got it done? No, I'm just going to talk about how Michigan basketball is going to have more NBA first-round draft picks than the Indiana national championship football team. That's what I'm going to talk about more about, because that's going to be a proven fact if Perez Johnson stays in this year. They're going to have 3 first-rounders. But I digress. So, guys, Cade, if you're taking anything away from the NBA, a life lesson, just whine and cry. You're going to get what you want.
Can I bring you to an Indiana football game in the fall?
I'd say probably not. I'd probably say that's a bad idea.
Come on, man. Why?
It's an insecure
Why?
fan base. They're gonna see me like walk in. They're like, that's the guy that made fun of us.
No, it's fine. I'm sure they will greet you with open arms.
They probably
man.
won't
I'm
even
sure
know
they,
who I
they,
am. They probably
they've
won't.
heard all
They
those
probably
things.
won't remember who I am.
No, they're gonna. This is how it's gonna go. They're gonna notice you, but they're not gonna know where they know you from.
They're like,
They're gonna
I
be
know
like,
this guy from something.
that guy. I don't know. I swear I've seen him before.
You know what I should do? You know what I should do? You know that meme where it's like it's a guy sitting in a park with the coffee and he's got his leg crossed and it's like it'll like obviously it changed with all the memes and throughout time where it's like they'll say take and it'll like say change my mind. I should sit outside the Indiana football stadium with a desk across my arm and say Indiana football is the weakest national champion I've ever seen and just sit out there and see what happens. That's what realistically I should do.
On a street corner. Okay. All right. Well, hey, I mean,
And then you can
willing...
sit there with your I love Kurt Signetti t-shirt.
No, I'll wear my Soviet Union hockey jersey.
Oh,
we can be the most hated people in Indiana. You and
hey,
me.
we haven't used this in a while.
Hey, Sam, would you wear a Soviet Union hockey jersey?
Probably not. Maybe in Russia.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
we
God,
haven't used
Sam
that one in
Fish.
a long time.
I'm gonna see him tonight, so I'm looking forward to hanging out with him for the soccer game. But it's red. It's red. It goes along with the theme. That's all I'll say. Everybody else is wearing red too, so you know I'm just one of the.
Will
I'm
you be
one of the
doing
folks,
this?
man?
Like the purple cobras?
Hi, you. Oh yeah, that's funny. I didn't even think about that.
It's basically that. It's base.
Yes. Yep. Against Average Joe's.
Michelle.
Actually, I think Indiana's playing Average Joe's to open the season, so Ryan and I will be there.
Probably. It's
and,
Kurt Signetti. He doesn't schedule tough non-conference schedules.
We'll be there. And we'll
Let's
be
see.
square.
Let's see
Who
what.
are they
Let's see
opening
what
this
big.
season?
Oh my God.
Who they got?
They have North Texas, who's
Panera
not
Bread?
good anymore because
Ooh.
Mestamaker and the whole coaching staff left.
Okay.
Howard. We're gonna play Howard.
A dude named Howard?
Well, the school.
Tim Howard?
They're gonna play Howard from The Big Bang Theory for sure. No, they're playing Howard University in the second game of the season. I didn't even know they had a football team. And then they have Western Kentucky. Let's see how weak this football schedule is. It's Indiana. It's typically pretty weak.
Isn't Howard's got a cool mascot though? Aren't they like
That's
a
a bison
or something? Nice.
Northwestern's trash.
I
Rutgers
like that.
trash. Nebraska trash. Hey, they have Ohio State. They have Michigan. Look at them. They got 3 teams. Shout out Indiana for kind of playing still a cupcake schedule, but it's not that bad. It's not as bad as last year's.
Hey man, you got to get your wins where you can. You play in the Big Ten, all right? It's the best college conference in the country now. You got to.
I mean, if you want to look
Ohio
at
State's sports-
Kyle Whittingham's first year, he's got OU. He's not Oakland University. They don't even have a football team. Oklahoma. Then they have Penn State, who I think was going to be better than last year. They have the Hoosiers. They have Oregon, and then they have Ohio State. So,
hey man, just saying, when you got a bunch of top 25 teams coming up, I'm going to play Verizon to open the season.
oh, okay,
99
okay.
times out
We
of 100.
finally have an answer from last week's thing. Schrock goes first. I go Schrock. He won't schedule North Dakota State though. He's not. He won't. He won't to schedule the D2 or. Aren't they going to become Division I? I think they're going to become Division I in football.
Aren't they? They're FCS.
But I think
So
they're going to become NCAA Division I.
Oh.
I think. FBS.
So
Anyway,
the FBS.
Schrock,
Okay. All right.
I asked Schrock the question. Does Nate officially live in Grand Rapids? Schrock says. Survey says. Yes, Nate officially lives in GR. The jury has spoken. Shout out our investigative journalist, Schrock. We appreciate you for doing God's work.
Taxes suck, but it is what it is. But that wraps up episode 287 here on Inside.
That's
the
weird how
Game.
that works. You could be like 200 feet from a different city zone in Texas. That's weird. I've always been fascinated by that. Like, that's crazy to me to think about that.
It's like, what do they do with my money, man? I
Yeah,
don't
my
know.
best friend lives down the street, but he doesn't do all. Yeah, that's funny how that all works.
Fix the roads. Yeah, exactly. Tyler Terens, big shout out for joining us here on Inside the Game. Be right back at it tomorrow for 288. So we'll talk to you guys then. So long, everybody.
We'll be right back.